Welcome everyone. It is Tuesday, April 23rd, and I'm going live at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time instead of my usual 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Today is my niece Allison's 24th birthday, and she invited me to dinner with her and her boyfriend and her parents. So that's what I'll be doing a little bit later for dinner. So thank you for joining me at this earlier time. I appreciate you. Couple of things that I wanted to share with you. We are into just about the last week of the last chance products. So if there's anything still available, there are many things. So if there's anything still available that you want, I suggest you get it sooner rather than later, because all last chance products are while supplies last only. And then April 30th is the last day for all of that. Also today, Stampin' Up! Added some items to the clearance rack, so you may want to check that out on my site. Those two are and great deals. Let me tell you, great deals. I sell some great DSP. You know how I love DSP. But check those out on the clearance rack. And again, those items are while supplies last only. Also, before we jump in today's project, I've got a coloring technique for you with a fun fold. So it's going to be really cool. But before I switch my camera around, I want to give a shout out to a few people. I received 3 pieces of mail yesterday, 3 handmade cards. This one is from Diane Rivers. I believe I don't know if you can tell, but it's Pretty Peacock is the color. And I believe that is the Dogwood stamp set from Celebration this year. And then this one is from Sherry Parker. Sherry is my upline's upline and a very good friend. And she sent me this in celebration of me reaching $500,000 in career sales. So that was very nice. And then this card is from customer and viewer Carol Helms. I don't know if Carol's on now, but she often watches these. And look at this. I got to do a close-up so you can see. It's like this pull-up card, but there's, whoops. It's a pull-up card, but it's like 2 parts. Isn't that sweet? So I am going to figure out how to make that next month, and I will show it and share it with all of you as well, because I think it's pretty cool. So shout out and thank you to those people. All right, I'm going to flip my camera around now. And while I'm doing that, would you please share this live video and invite others to join us this afternoon? And if you prefer, you can even tag your friends in the comments to let them know that I'm live and we invite them over. So you just missed Riley. Andrea and Riley just left. They're headed to my niece's because dinner, Riley's bedtime is around 6:30. So kind of runs into the birthday dinner for Allison. So Andrea was going to run over there and see Allison for a bit. But we had a busy day here. Andrea was over working in my Stampin' Piece studio and getting lots done for me. And she also mowed my lawn. Usually I do that yard work myself, but with my back, I can't this year. So Andrea and John have been helping me out with that. And I needed to go to the grocery store for a few things. And took Riley with me, and boy, she was like the hit at the grocery store. Everybody was commenting on how cute she is, but she was very serious sitting in the grocery cart looking at everything. So lots of fun today. All right, today I'm going to show you a coloring technique, and I'm featuring the Stippled Roses Stamp Set and dies, and then I'm also using the largest die from the Stylish Shapes die, the largest circle. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and show you this card. There's a card and then another, well, two cards. I'm going to show you this first, and then I'm going to show you how to make it, and you will get all of the cutting and scoring dimensions as well. And it's super easy. And I don't really know what to call this, when I call it a window card or a peekaboo card. But it's super easy, and you can do it with almost, or maybe all of your stamp sets and dies or punches. I've got all my pieces ready. The first thing I'm going to do is show you how I cut the window in the front of my card. So I've got a standard size card base here. This one is Melon Mambo, and I've cut it 5.5 by 8.5, and I've scored at 4 1/4 inches. And so this would be the front, okay? The finished card is actually a card in a card, I'll say. So we have a standard size card base with the fold on the left. So this is my front, and I want to, and you can cut out any shape you like, whether it be dies, just standard shapes, or if you want something a little fancier with some of our other dies, that would work well also. So I'm going to just lay this down, and I've kind of got it centered side to side, and more towards the top than the middle of my front. But of course, this is, if you replicate this, you can do whatever you like. You can move that around and position that window wherever you like. The other thing, if you don't have it perfectly centered, people aren't going to notice, because you're going to decorate around it with some dies, die cut pieces and punched pieces. Okay, now I'm going to save this, and I'll show you how to use this on another card. So that will be part of our second card. So I'm going to tuck that away now. And this is what I have so far. Then I have a piece of basic white, and this is going to be my smaller card base, and it's going to be on the inside. And this measures 8 inches by 5 1/4, 8 inches by 5 1/4. So when it's folded, it's actually 4 inches wide by 5 1/4 long. All right. So let me say that again, 5 1/4 by 8 inches, and I scored it 4 inches on the long side. So it's going to go like that. And you want to make sure for this card base that the fold is on the right side, okay? Larger card base, fold is on the left. Smaller card base, the fold is on the right. And with that fold on the right, I'm going to be stamping right here. And this is the stamp. This is the largest stamp in the Stippled Roses. Stippled Roses stamp set. And I'm using Melon Mambo and Mossy Meadow today, and with my Sponge Daubers. And I'm just going to tap the ink onto my red rubber stamp. How many of you love Melon Mambo? It's been around for quite some time, but it's just a fun, bright pink. Kind of reminds me of summer. I've got some small flower buds also. So 2 large flowers, and then these 2 flowers just opening, and another one over here. And we've also got a bud that's closed. Oh, I've got this flower as well, right? Yes, I missed that. Sometimes it does help. Where's my stamp? Sometimes it helps to flip this over, and then you can know for sure what the images are. So I almost forgot that 3rd open flower right up here. And once I have all of my Melon Mambo ink where I want it, I'm going to then work with Mossy Meadow, and I'm going to do the leaves and the stems in Mossy Meadow. And I'm just going to tap the ink on there. And I'm getting pretty much right up to the outline of the roses. If you make a mistake like I did there, or get some ink, you can kind of just push it away and add more of the first color. And if they mix a little bit, that's really okay with this technique. I'm going to do the bud and these leaves. It doesn't have to be perfect. And you know, another way to add 2 or more colors to a single stamp is by using your Stampin' Right markers. Those are our traditional markers that are water-based. However, a lot of times I think you get a better effect using the Sponge Daubers. Now in here, there are some like little stem leaves, and right here, and I'm just gonna tap it. And sometimes I just angle my Sponge Dauber instead of going straight down. I'll angle it, and that way I'm getting kind of the edge of the Sponge Dauber in those small places. And again, I'm not worrying about being perfect. We all know that's impossible, right? But you can make it awfully pretty without having the pressure, putting pressure on yourself to feel perfect. So once that's done, I'm going to huff on this. Huff means I'm just going to breathe heavily on it a few times. That way, because if some of the ink that I started putting on first is dry, huffing on it or breathing heavily on it will moisten that ink so it adheres to your paper better. And then I'm just going to stamp it like that. Okay. And again, this doesn't have to be perfectly centered either, all right? And in fact, the stamp set alone is kind of difficult to center perfectly. You even have room for a little message here if you like, or could add some kind of embellishment. Now I'm going to pull my sample was a Mother's Day card, but I'm going to make this a thank you card. Thanks. It says sending thanks, and I'm use a little bit of my scrap paper just to kind of practice stamping this straight. That looks pretty good. And I'm just going to stamp it in this bottom left corner. You don't have to put a sentiment here if you don't want to. But for me, it fills in that space a little bit. And then I still have plenty of space to write a note on the inside. Kathy, the biggest card, you'll want to go back and watch from the beginning. The outer card base, the fold is on the left, and the smaller card base I'm putting on the right. Okay, so just a different twist on this. And you could do it with the fold on the left and have both of them open that way. But I like to change things up, so I'm doing it this way. So outer card, the fold is on the left. The inner card, the fold is on the right. Alrighty. And then, so now we have that done. Now I'm going to add some other pieces, and I'm going to be stamping these, and I'm going to use the same technique that I've already used. Okay. So I'm bringing my daubers back in. Oops, look, I smeared that. I must have ink on my finger. Oh, no, I did stamp that already. Okay, cool. I already stamped these. I thought I did. Same method, using the Sponge Dauber with the Melon Mambo, and then the Sponge Dauber with the Mossy Meadow, and putting that ink right on the stamp. So for this one, I purposely did not do this one yet because I want to show you how I'm going to combine the dauber and the Stampin' Right marker for this stamp. Because I want the two colors, but the second color is basically the stem of the branch. So I'm going to go over the leaves with Mossy Meadow on my Sponge Dauber. That looks pretty good. And then I have an Early Espresso Stampin' Right marker. Remember, these are water-based, so this is the right kind of marker to use for this technique. If you would try it with the Stampin' Blends, those are alcohol-based markers, and they will dry instantly, so you're not able to get the same effect. So I'm just going over the stem with the large end of my large tip or paintbrush tip of the Stampin' Right marker. And if there was some of the Mossy Meadow on part of the branch, I'm not going to worry about that because going over it with Early Espresso, a darker color works out fine. Now let's see what it does. I'm going to huff on this and then I'll stamp on the cardstock. So now, and they're both very dark colors, but now you can see how I've got the two colors. I've got the Early Espresso with the Mossy Meadow. So that's, on this particular stamp, I combined coloring with the Sponge Dauber and a Stampin' Right marker. So now I have to die cut these. Let me move these out of the way. Okay. So these two dies are both from the Stippled Roses die collection, or the Stippled Roses bundle. And I'm using a little bit of this labeling tape or cover-up tape. It's by Post-it. To hold each of the dies in place. And that way I can, I think, die cut both of them at once. Let's see, is there enough room? There is, I think. Let's do it this way. And on larger dies like this, if you're wanting to hold it in place, you might want to adhere it in two spots. Oh, Donna says she loves that tape. I'm so glad. Okay. Let's do this. That'll work better. Okay, got my sandwich correct. Plate 1 and then 2, the cardstock and the dies, and another plate 2 on top. And they just cut right out so easily. Easy peasy. And then I'm going to cut the second small rose out. Thank you all of you for joining me at this, I'll call it the odd hour, because I'm not usually on at this time, but thanks for being so accommodating. I had to cancel last Thursday's Facebook Live, and I was disappointed because I had this all ready, but yeah, life sometimes happens. And it had to do with my back surgery, but after a few things happening and then 2 phone calls from Wednesday and Thursday, I decided maybe this wasn't the right practice for me to be going with. So I feel like I'm starting over, but I feel confident in my decision. If I wasn't comfortable with that practice for various reasons, that I needed to move on and find somebody else. But my sister has a surgeon that worked on her neck 7 years ago, and she had great results. So I'm trying to get in with him. But such is life. It could always be worse. And I'm not in terrible pain like I was for 2 months this winter. So it is what it is. And I guess worst case scenario is, well, best case scenario, it's a second opinion. So there's nothing wrong with that. I've got some ink smudged on the back, so I think I can put this on here so it won't show from the inside. Except I got my dimensional. So as you can see from my example, you want to pay attention to where you're putting the adhesive, because you don't want the adhesive showing on the back side when they open their card, nor do you want it coming down on the front of the inside card base, okay? So I have this, and basically my card is now finished with the exception of I'm going to add some embellishments. And where did they go? I'm wondering if I put them away. I have them out. Actually, I had 2. I know which one I want to use for this one, but, well, phooey. Okay, hold on, friends. Hold on. Okay, I do not know what I did with them. This is terrible. Does that ever happen to you? And I had these things ready for last Thursday. They were laying out right here. This is craziness. I might have to pick something else. For heaven's sakes. Oh, friends, they were right here. It'll be like last time I lost something and they turned up. Okay, they're gone. I was going to add the matte gold sequins here. So I'm going to have to pick something else. Phooey. What do you think of that? The little butterflies? They aren't really size appropriate, I guess. Oh, I'm going to go with these, I think. And then later, I'll figure out the mystery of where those embellishments went. I had iridescent pearl sitting out along with those sequins. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. You do that too? Okay, I know it's going to happen. I will stop the live and I'll be cleaning up and they will be like right here somewhere. Does anybody see them? You don't see them. Okay, so let's just go with these instead. So I'm going to do a large and two small in this lower right corner, excuse me, lower right. And up here, I'm going to go with a large and a small. And these are the adhesive back sparkle gems. And if I'm remembering correctly, they are in the new catalog. Okay. So here's our finished card. One of you, well, maybe Riley took them to make a card. You never know. You never know. But Andrea had everything timed right today because it's getting very hard for her to work with Riley moving about so much. That's driving me nuts. Oh, well, let it go, Mary. But Andrea had it timed so right. She got her morning nap in here, and then I took her to the grocery store, and we all had lunch, and then Riley and I played and went for a walk while Andrea, sweet girl, mowed my lawn. So it all worked out fine. And then she took a second nap and off they were then to see Allison. So this, remember I said I would do something with this die cut piece from the window? Here's what's happening. And this is so easy. You're going to be like, wow. And you know how I feel. If you're making one card, you might as well make two. And in addition to that, if you're die cutting, you might as well use the piece that you didn't use on the first card. Just like DSP, I feel like I have to use every bit when I can. And I find that if I just do it immediately after the first card I make, it usually just really comes together easily for me. I think it's made me more, what do I want to say? I think it makes me more creative too. It kind of forces me to think outside the box, because when I made this card, I didn't necessarily have a plan for this. So it kind of helps me stretch the imagination a little bit. So I'm going to add this here. Now, I'm also going to be doing some stamping. I want to put my sentiment here, and I'm using the Happy Mother's Day for this. And I've got a couple other cards with the same design that I want to show you. They're in other colors. And then I'll give you some more ideas. We'll talk about some more ideas for using the die cut circle. Do any of you have the Stippled Roses? And this is carrying over into our new annual catalog, so you can feel good about that. If you don't have it and it's still on your wish list. And the last thing I'm going to do is add the circle to this card front. And I'm just kind of putting it right in the middle. But again, you can move it around and put it anywhere you like. So I'll also be giving this card away, but this is the one I had the little pearls out for. And I don't know where they went. So let's see what else we can put on here. How about, I might go with the same thing. You know what, let's do this. Let's do these, but what do you think of the silver on there? What do you think of one of the other colors? Any thoughts on that? Would you still go gold, or would you do silver? Or I don't know if I like the black with that. So you tell me, gold or silver. The first one to respond, I will go with you. Joan, I'm glad you like this circle card. Okay, Margaret, here's some ideas for you to get out your Stippled Roses bundle and work with that a little bit. So I'm going to do, is that really where I want it? Let me think about this. I'm going to show you a different layout of the embellishments for on my sample. But I thought I'm going to change it up for this one. I'm going to go here and here and here. Remember that when we're adding embellishments, we typically add in odd numbers. So here, a lot of times I do 3, sometimes 5. Pat had a really good idea. She said to add even, she said, what do I think? I think it's a great idea, Pat. But she said you could emboss this layer of white. So I used the basic white thick cardstock for my card base, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then this white layer that I put up on dimensionals is 4 inches by 5 1/4. Okay. Cindy, I'm glad you like those silver embellishments on there. I think it worked out nicely too. Now let me show you show you my sample for the second card. And see, it has just a different look, doesn't it? Because I used the iridescent pearls, they're smaller, and I put them on that die cut circle. So you get a totally different look by changing up one little thing. I think this one looks a little daintier to me. And I could consider this simple and elegant. This would be a step up from the simple and elegant. Okay, so I wanted to show you that. And then I did 2 other colors. So here is, and of course you can stamp the envelope. And this one I did with Daffodil Delight and Garden Green. Isn't it bright, vibrant? I love it too. Okay, and look where I put the sentiment this time. On the outer card front. And then this is, I used the happy or best birthday wishes for the circle. And I think this you could do a few things with. You could, of course, add this to a card front. You could punch a hole at the top and put a ribbon through, or maybe some baker's twine, and use it as a hanging tag on a gift bag. You could get a bouquet of flowers or a plant, and you can get the plastic picks that they put cards in, and that could be the card in the flower arrangement. And you could even sign on the back if you wanted. Or you can, if you have a wrapped package, you could actually adhere this to that somehow. Okay, or again, use a little ribbon and write a message on the back and attach it that way. So a few different ways to use it. The yellow roses always remind me of my mom and dad, because my mom always talked about how dad would give her yellow roses while they were dating and stuff like that. And then throughout the years that they were married, before he passed, he would continue to give her yellow roses on occasion. And that's something, when mom died about 7 years ago, we made sure to have yellow roses that we left on the casket. So nice memory there. And then here's another one. And this I did with Pretty in Pink, that classic baby pink that we used to have, and Stampin' Up! Is bringing back with our new annual catalog. Okay, and here I just have the inside blank, but I have a congratulations out here. This could be a new job, a move, a new house, graduation, some kind of work achievement, a new baby. So many reasons for this. And then the same thing with this. You could use it as a gift tag or add it to a card front if you like. But aren't they pretty? And as you can see, I mean, I could have gone on and on with these two designs, making them in so many colors. Think of like Fresh Freesia and the new Petunia Pop, Berry Burst. What else would be good? Pumpkin Pie, Lemon Lolly, Flirty Flamingo, Real Red. You could go on and on, right? Oh yes, New House. Sandy, great. I love that idea. New house. Actually, maybe I could use something like that for John and Andrea next month, because they'll be moving, we think, in a few weeks. So that'll be nice, because then they'll just be living 12 minutes from me instead of 30. So looking for peach pie. Tanya, yes, peach pie would be so pretty. Okay, if you would like to have your name entered into the drawing to receive one of these two cards, please type in the comments now. Stippled roses. Stippled roses. Oh, Vanessa, your mom liked the pink, and she passed too. I'm sorry, but I bet like me, you have lots of good memories. Stippled roses. And I will draw two names and send these cards out. So I hope you enjoyed today's demonstration. I hope you will give the coloring technique as well as the fun fold technique with the window. Give that a try. And when you do, please show me. Please, I've got people sending me pictures all the time, or they post them in the Stampin' Piece VIP group, or right here on Stampin' Piece with Mary Knabe. I love to see what you all make. And they're always wonderful, always wonderful. So the more we share, the more we can inspire one another. All right, thank you for joining me. Thank you for sharing this live video. And I will see you on Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. I do not expect there to be any change to that. I know I've had several changes in my Facebook Live schedule in the last week or so, couple weeks. So I look forward to seeing you then. Enjoy the rest of your day, and happy stamping always.